Hello everyone, I am Gayatri and I welcome you to Sarthi Defense Academy. In today's lesson, we are going to study what is a sentence, what are essential elements of a sentence, and what are the two parts of sentence. This is one of the most basic topics in English language. It is very important for you to understand what comprises of a complete sentence, what are the things we need to take care of. This will help you in understanding the language and its structure in a better format. So let us study what is a sentence. In sentence, there are two essential things that you are looking for. First, that it is a group of words. Whenever you put together a set of words and when it makes complete sense by itself, then it is called a sentence. When it is just a group of words, we will call it a phrase. Let us take an example of a phrase. Okay, let's say we're saying the book on the table. The book on the table. Now we are understanding what object we are talking about, but is it a complete sentence? No, it is not a complete sentence. The book on the table is not a complete sentence. Why? Because it does not make complete sense by itself. You need something ahead of it. The book on the table is mine. Let's say if we add the word is mine. Now these two words add meaning and make it complete. Similarly, let's say the girl on the slide. The girl on the slide. Now this slide is not the slide of a presentation, the slide which you find in the parks. Okay, so the girl on the slide. Now this doesn't make complete sense because we don't know what exactly we're talking about. The girl, let's say the girl on the slide is my sister. Now this makes complete sense. So one of the components that will tell you if it is a complete sentence or not is the existence of a verb. Remember, every complete sentence needs to have a verb. So in these two sentences, as soon as we add the verb is, both cases the verb is. As soon as we have a verb, it can become a complete sentence. So first is a group of words, second it makes complete sense by itself, and what we could say is a subtopic of making complete sense is the existence of a verb. Now this is a common mistake that you can see in people. You can see a common mistake done by people for whom English is not their first language, which is the case with most of you watching this video here. So make sure that you are using the verbs in the right context. Now what is a verb? Verb is an action describing word. Okay, for example, is talking about how a person is. Okay, the current state. I am writing, she's studying. So studying, writing, these are what? These are verbs because these are words that denote an action. We will study about this more in detail when we are studying parts of speech. Okay, let us now understand what are the things that we have to be grammatically very careful. Remember, whatever your exam is, whatever type of exam you are attempting for, one of the essential questions that will appear is this sentence correct? Is this sentence complete? Identify the errors in the sentence. So when you're solving these type of questions, you have to make sure, check if there is a verb in the sentence. What is the next thing that you will check? Very basic but a common mistake done by a lot of people, not just in English but in any language, is you do not check if the sentence is beginning with a capital letter. This is a common mistake with students for whom Hindi or Marathi is their first language, because in Hindi and Marathi we do not have anything such as capitalization of the first alphabet. Remember, in English, every first letter, every beginning of the sentence will have to be a capital letter. Okay, it's a very basic rule but very important. Second is there are three possibilities for ending. Either it can be a full stop, it can be a question mark or an exclamation mark. Now what are these? These we will talk in detail when we are talking about punctuation, where to use what. Currently you just have to understand a full stop is similar to a dot, a question mark is this, an exclamation mark is a line with a dot at the bottom. Okay, let us look at some examples. I bought a book. Okay, it is a group of words. It makes complete sentence because what did I buy? What did I buy in the past? So bought is buy in the past tense. So what did I buy? A book. So it is making complete sense by itself. So it is a sentence. Is there a verb? Yes, bought is a verb. So there is a verb also. Then what do we check? Is the first letter a capital letter? Is there a punctuation towards the end? Is there a full stop, question mark, or an exclamation mark? Yes. So this is a sentence. Second, if we see, John is a musician. So we're talking about John. What is the occupation of John? He is a musician. There is a verb. Is the verb in this sentence. So there is a verb. It is making complete sense. It begins with a capital letter and it ends with a full stop. Let us take another example which does not have a full stop. Let's take an example of something with a question mark at the end. An example would be, what time is the meeting? What time is the meeting? Question mark. So here we are talking about the meeting and we are asking at what time it is going to be held, what time it is going to be conducted. So if you look at this, it is a group of words which makes complete sense. There is again a verb which is the beginning is a capital letter and the ending is a question mark. Now most sentences that we're taking as examples have the verb is. Doesn't mean that most sentences have the verb is. Okay, is a helping verb which is an auxiliary verb which we will study further in detail and is used in most sentences, but remember, you're not looking for is in the sentence, you're looking for any kind of verb in the sentence. Let us take an example with an exclamation mark. I really hate pineapple on my pizza. This is a very trending concept, having pineapples on pizza which is essentially a savory dish, and pineapple which is a fruit which is on a little sweeter side. So it is not something that everybody appreciates or enjoys. Let us take that as an example. So I really hate pineapple on my pizza. Now this is an exclamation sentence because there is an element of surprise. We're not talking about normal things. So I put an exclamation mark. Now let's just review it. Is it a group of words? Yes, it is a group of words. Does it make complete sense? Yes, because you are understanding what I exactly hate. Does it start with a capital letter, end with a exclamation mark? Yes. So does it have a verb? Yes, hate is the verb, to hate, right? So it is a sentence in its entirety. Why? Because it is a group of words, make complete sense by itself. It has a verb, begins with a capital letter and ends with an exclamation mark. So these are things that you have to train your mind to think of whenever you are writing a complete sentence. Now why is this important? Because the more you train yourself to look at these elements, you will see the reflection of this practice in your speaking skills as well. As when you are listening to sentences, you will start to pick out the verbs, which is very essential practice if you want to get grammatically correct sentences and context into your communication. Now let's talk about an important element which is going to be very essential as we study grammar topics further. This is not important from the point of view of your exam, because very few exams have a question based out of subject and predicate. However, this is an essential concept to understand further grammatical concepts in English language. So a sentence in English has two parts, a subject and a predicate. Okay, what is the subject? Subject is the doer or the main topic of the sentence. Doer of the action or the main topic of the sentence. Let us take the examples again. We will use the same examples. So, I bought a book. Who is the doer of the action? I am the doer of the action, right? So, I here will be the subject. John is a musician. Who are we talking about? Who is the principal character in the sentence? John. So, John is going to be the subject. Each sentence will have a subject and a predicate. Now, just focus on understanding what is the subject. What time is the meeting? What time is the meeting? Your meeting is the important part, because we are not talking about time, we are talking about when is the meeting going to happen. What is the important element here? Meeting. So meeting is going to be the subject. I really hate pineapple on my pizza. So even though the surprise element comes from the pizza, who are we talking about? Who hates? So I hate. So I is going to be the subject. Okay, next is the predicate. Predicate tells us something about the subject. So here, bought a book. It's essentially the remaining part of the sentence. Bought a book is the predicate. Why? Because we are understanding what is the action that I did. Is a musician. What is John? John is a musician. That will be predicate. What time is the meeting? So here what will be the predicate? Is at what time? Meeting is at what time, right? So this will be predicate. Similarly, hate pineapple on my pizza is the predicate. So no matter what type of sentence it is a simple sentence with a full stop at the end, it is an exclamation sentence with an exclamation mark towards the end, or it is a question sentence, or what we call an interrogative sentence, there is always going to be a subject and there is going to be a predicate. Now remember, the subject does not necessarily always have to be in the sentence. Sometimes it is a hidden subject. For example, I just say dance. Okay, it is an instruction. It is an instruction for you to dance. So here, what do I mean? You dance is what I mean, right? So in this case, the subject you is not written, it is hidden. So sometimes the subject can also be hidden. This is most commonly seen in sentences where we are giving instructions, what we call as imperative sentences. You will most commonly see the subject missing in imperative sentences. Sometimes when we are changing it from active voice to passive voice, sometimes the subject is eliminated from the sentence. So it might not be written in the sentence, but it doesn't mean that it does not exist. However, you don't have to worry about these complications, because from the exam point of view, it is not important. So in this section today, we have studied in a sentence, the essential elements are, it is a group of words. It can also be a single word, like just in the case of the sentence dance. Does it make complete sense? Yes, because it is an instruction. It is what we call imperative sentence. This is an imperative sentence. So it has to be a group of words, or it can just be a single word as well. Okay, and it must make complete sense, which means it should have a verb at least. Here, dance in itself is a verb. It should begin with a capital letter, always in English. Be very careful about it for students with backgrounds in Marathi and Hindi, because it is a concept which exists only in English. A full stop is a dot, question mark, or an or a exclamation mark are the three things that you should check towards the end of the sentence, okay, for it to be a complete sentence. Then we studied that a sentence has two parts, a subject and a predicate. Subject is the doer of the action, is the main element that we are talking about in the sentence, and predicate is something that gives us more information about the subject. With this, we will end today's lecture, and I will see you in the next session to talk more about parts of speech.